Tonight on CTV News at 6. Challenging conditions. Crews in Timmins had to battle a fire and the elements yesterday. A Hollywood director, actor, and his wife are murdered.
He was subsequently booked for murder and is being held on $4 million bail.
Now, Rob Reiner's son is accused of the double homicide. And she's on a northern tour.
You know, one of the solutions we talked about as well is bringing in nurse-patient ratios like they did in British Columbia.
Ontario's NDP leader is in North Bay and heading to other communities.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Monday, December 15th. Fire tore through a Timmins business early Sunday morning. Crews responded to a blaze at D&L Towing on Lafayette Road around 4 a.m. It took firefighters nearly 10 hours to battle the blaze due to sub-zero temperatures, freezing water lines. No injuries were reported. An investigation has been launched by Timmins Police and the Fire Marshal's office. And with news of Timmins Council's decision to endorse a location for a permanent encampment, people who would be using the site are speaking out against it. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
Timmins Council has endorsed this location as the preferred site for a permanent encampment for people who are homeless. It's about a 13-kilometer drive west from City Hall on Highway 101. Those who work to support unhoused people say they're frustrated and angry with the decision.
It goes against all, peer-reviewed, evidence-based research. It goes against everything that our community has learned when we've brought in expert consultants around homelessness or addictions or mental health. It goes against everything that people who are living in poverty and people who access homelessness services are saying they need.
The core services are downtown. We're downtown. This is a safe space for folks. And to put folks away from what their support system is just setting up for more failure and causing a lot more harm.
Sarita says DIY Community Health Timmins was left out of the site selection process.
I was left in the dark. I think most service providers were left in the dark. The few opportunities we did have to voice our opinions, they were ignored.
Those directly impacted are scared the encampment will be so far away from the city's core.
Coming from a person that's been human trafficked and I've been in that kind of situation, you're asking, what if it was your daughter and you were sending your daughter out there alone at night?
As you can see, no sidewalk.
Yesterday, two groups walked from the mutual aid site to the proposed location, one during the day and one at night. They wanted to show what a vulnerable person would have to experience along the way.
It was treacherous. It was scary. Because why? Because one slip of a vehicle in the wintertime, black ice, doesn't matter. Someone will get hit and someone will die.
None of us would have been able to do it if we were carrying all of our belongings.
In a recent interview with the Mayor of Timmins, Michelle Boileau said the site was project ready.
One of the benefits to this site was the readiness of the site. So the fact that it was ready to have modular facilities moved on to the location, zoning and planning requirements would be easier to get through. And so with it being, a project-ready site, we're hopeful that we'll be able to have more appropriate shelter options in a matter of months.
Decision makers now await approval on the location from the province. In the meantime, DIY Community Health Timmins asks people to advocate on its behalf by contacting their local, provincial, and federal representatives.
People will die trying to access the site. People will die at the site. And people will die if they try and leave the site.
Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
The Rainbow District School Board has issued new notifications detailing extensive personal information compromised during a cyber attack in February. The notifications come after a 9-month-long records review and detail specific data compromised for distinct groups. The largest affected group was students with alumni from 5 secondary schools as far back as 1989. Birth dates, addresses, grades, and Student Ontario education numbers were also impacted. For some international students, the breach included passport information. For more details on the breach, visit our website, ctvnewsnorthernontario.ca. Ontario NDP leader Marit Stiles is touring Northern Ontario this week, talking to constituents about ongoing issues in their communities. Her first stop was in North Bay this afternoon. The province has been in the spotlight for two hot topics in the city recently. Stiles weighed in on Education Minister Paul Calandra's takeover of the Near North District School Board. She wants to know who Calandra will appoint as the new board supervisor, expressing concerns about conservative insiders who don't have an education background appointed to other school boards. She also has been hearing a lot of concerns about the 40 job cuts at the North Bay Regional Health Centre.
You know, one of the solutions we talked about as well is bringing in nurse-patient ratios like they did in British Columbia. Things like that will make sure that our healthcare workers don't burn out.
Stiles also visited Providing Adults with Developmental Disabilities Lifelong Experience, or PADL. It's a program for adults with developmental disabilities which is at risk of ending operations. The province recently denied its latest request to cover core funding. PADL launched in 2007 after receiving full approval with startup funds provided by the Ministry of Community and Social Services. PADL's executive director says the program needs between $250,000 and $300,000 to continue running.
There are at least 20 individuals here who've been told there will not be supported living in this community in their lifetime. If there are no homes and there's no supported living or no respite, people are going to a hospital, and that's $1,500 a day.
Their focus right now is on things like, spending a lot of taxpayer dollars on building a spa in downtown Toronto on the waterfront. I've done the math. That costs $400 per family in Ontario. That's outrageous. Why are we paying for that here in North Bay when we could be seeing the government pay just a tiny amount to keep a program like this open?
The program supports adults with learning, recreation, life skills, physical fitness, and community involvement. Stiles is also expected to make stops on her northern tour in Nickelbelt, Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie, and Algoma, Manitoulin. Moving now to the weather, plenty of cloud cover and light snow, but a warm-up is coming. With more on that, here's CTV's Rick Wyman. Rick?
Big warm-up, and you'd think, Tony, as we approach Christmas, that kind of strange for this time of the year, but as we see in the 7-day forecast coming up a little bit later on this hour at least, you'll notice a big difference. Our systems map brought to you by Environment Canada. Take a look at the system that will dump some precipitation. We're talking freezing drizzle, we're talking ice pellets, we're talking flurries and some snow a little bit later on in the week. And of course, temperatures will change, it'll warm up, then it'll get back to normal in terms of being pretty cold. So we'll take a look at the 7-day forecast, our pick of the day, and the ever popular, Tony, current temperatures coming up next. Back to you.
Thanks so much for that, Rick. More discontent still to come on CTV News at 6. Opposition is growing to the province's plan of merging conservation authorities. And a nonprofit in Sudbury that offers free clothes to families has launched a new app.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
A death investigation at a nursing home in Sturgeon Falls has ruled out foul play. Ontario Provincial Police began a death investigation at Au Chateau Nursing Home around 10 p.m. September 23rd. An 85-year-old resident was found dead by staff members. The investigation was conducted by the OPP Crime Unit in conjunction with the Office of the Chief Coroner and the Ontario Forensic Pathology Service to determine the cause of death. Once again, there was no foul play. Police are looking for a man wanted on a nationwide warrant with ties to Northern Ontario. Police say Eric Richard Joseph Cardinal is a federal offender wanted on breaching a release order. Cardinal is said to frequent Timmins, Magnetawan, and Elliott Lake and is described as 5 feet tall, 160 pounds. He's said to have a fair complexion, is clean-shaven with brown hair, hazel eyes, and a dragon tattoo on his right arm. Cardinal is serving a 3-year and 3-month sentence for robbery, assault, theft, and criminal harassment. Anyone with information is asked to call police or Crime Stoppers. And police are looking for the public's help in identifying a vehicle after an incident on Highway 17 in Sudbury. The vehicle they're looking for was traveling westbound on Highway 17 in the greater Sudbury community of Walden, December 12th, between midnight and 2 a.m. Police are looking for a salt-covered sedan that was on the side of the highway and the driver who appeared to be flagging people down for help. For more on this story, you can visit our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. More people are speaking out about the proposed consolidation of Northeastern Ontario conservation authorities. The agencies work to keep people and property safe from natural hazards. More now from CTV's Alan Everson.
Carl Jorgensen is the General Manager of Conservation Sudbury. The board recently passed a resolution opposing the province's proposed consolidation of 36 conservation authorities into 7 large regional ones. It means Sudbury, North Bay, the Sault and Timmins will become the Northeastern Ontario Regional Conservation Authority.
I think the efficiency that we have in conservation authorities in the Northeast is extremely high. We're already heavily integrated with our communities, and to spread it out, I think, will make us less efficient. If we think about it as well, we have local expertise that know these watersheds.
Jorgensen says those local considerations are key in the work conservation authorities do.
Having people who work here in the Sudbury area who know all of the lakes, the rivers, and the wetlands of Sudbury. They know our geology, they know our history, which is extremely important because the landscape in Sudbury is different from anywhere else in Ontario given our past mining history and our current mining operations.
Northern Ontario large urban mayors known as NOLM recently sent a letter to the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks, which says in part, our conservation authorities are lean organizations that are accountable, transparent, and provide efficient permit approvals and community services. The proposed regional model for Northern Ontario will not eliminate red tape and has a distinct potential to result in the opposite outcome of increased bureaucracy. For Northern Ontario, this is a situation of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We reached out to the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks, but did not receive a response before our deadline. City Council in Sudbury recently voted to oppose the province mandating the local conservation authority merge with 3 others. Alan Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Closet Share in Sudbury is a non-profit organization that provides free clothing through donations. Unfortunately, it hasn't been able to accept any since July. But that will soon change. CTV's Lindsay Ehrlich reports.
The day started off with a celebration, marking the launch of the Closet Share app.
With our Canada-wide shipping now that we also launched a couple months ago, it's going to be so much easier for people to find what they need and be able to check out. And it also helps save the planet, right? Because now we're opening it up so more people have access to secondhand clothes.
Porter says they haven't been able to accept donations since July, as this is what their back room currently looks like.
Every day we come in and our donation bin outside is still full, clothing everywhere outside. It's very frustrating. All I say to people is just call first. If you call to see if the organization needs clothes, then you can bring it. Don't just leave it outside, because what happens to that, it ends up in landfills.
Porter tried to have the bags picked up by Value Village, but she says the pickups were canceled. CTV News reached out to Value Village for comment and received a statement which says in part, we do not turn away donations. We are reaching out to Closet Share to clear up any misunderstanding and see how we can help. Closet Share is welcome to direct their donations to our Community Donation Center at 799 Notre Dame Avenue. Porter says thanks to Value Village agreeing to take all of these donations, she will be able to once again resume donations early in the new year. Lindsay Ehrlich, CTV News, Sudbury.
Well, the town of Cochrane has a new chief administrative officer. Effective January 5th, Daniel Gagnon will step into the role. Gagnon is headed to Cochrane from Elliott Lake, where he played a pivotal role in the Crown Cottage lot projects. Gagnon replaces outgoing CAO Chris Ray. More than $400,000 is headed to the township of Calvin near Mattawa after flooding in June. The money is to help the community cover the cost for emergency response and critical infrastructure repairs. Roads had been washed out after heavy rains June 21st. Trees and power lines were also down during the storm. Environment Canada estimated 87 millimeters of rain hit the small community. And back now for a check on the current conditions with Rick, and there's also some rain in the forecast.
Yes, surprisingly for this time in December, we're going to get some freezing drizzle, some rain or snow, some ice pellets, snow, and more snow. So let's have a look at what's happening with our forecast radar right now. Here is the system that is moving across the Northeast. This is how it's going to look in a couple of days. But first, let's check out our current temperatures this hour. Don't forget the wind chill is also factored into these current conditions. Moosonee at -13, some light precipitation. Cochrane -10. Timmins -9, some light precipitation. Kapuskasing, more precipitation at -16. In Chapleau, some light precipitation, -11. Wawa -9, and Sault Ste. Marie, some light snow at -14. Snow squall warning once again, Perry Sound at -9 this hour, driving down 69, -13 North Bay, -11 Timiskaming Shores, a -9 Kirkland Lake. Sudbury Nickel Belt overcast -11, -12 Espanola, some light precipitation. Elliott Lake -11, and more of the same for Gore Bear, some light precipitation. Gore Bay -11 for the current temperature. We'll take a look at the 7-day forecast and our pick of the day coming up. You'll love it. It was taken yesterday in the Sault Ste. Marie area. Tony?
Thanks, Rick. Death toll rises. Next on CTV News at 6. Australia has experienced its worst mass shooting in almost 30 years. And the son of director-actor Rob Reiner is charged in connection with the deaths of his parents. "15 people have died in a mass shooting in Australia after father and son targeted a public gathering marking the first night of Hanukkah. Among those gunned down, a 10-year-old girl and a Holocaust survivor. CTV's Judy Trin now on the victims.
Grief uniting hundreds of mourners 24 hours after a mass shooting on Bondi Beach. Violence that turned the celebration of Hanukkah into carnage.
Hundreds of people running and screaming off the beach. So I turned around and we just started running back as quick as we could back to our hostel.
At least 15 people were killed, dozens were wounded. The victims range in age from 10 to 87 years old. Among those killed, the rabbi leading the celebration, Eli Schlanger, who had relatives in Toronto.
He was just full of life, positivity. It was his mission to bring the light of Judaism into the world.
Authorities call the attack terrorism and anti-Semitic.
The offenders are a 50-year-old and 24-year-old male who are father and son.
Police aren't releasing the suspect names, but Australian media are identifying them as Sajid Akram and Naveed Akram. The father was shot by police and had immigrated in 1988 as a student. His son Naveed was born in Australia.
He was examined on the basis of being associated with others, and the assessment was made that there was no indication of any ongoing threat.
38 other people remain in hospital, but the death toll could have been much greater if not for a bystander. Ahmed Al-Ahmed, a local fruit vendor from Syria, tackled the older suspect and was also shot multiple times. 2 decades ago, Ottawa Rabbi Chaim Medelson participated in the Hanukkah ceremony on Bondi Beach. He calls Ahmed a hero.
He is literally the light in the darkness. He is the silver lining of this story. He is the reminder that there is a safe future for all of mankind to live together.
In the aftermath of this attack, Australia's leaders are promising to tighten already tough gun laws, including putting limits on the number of guns a person can own, as well as reviewing licenses. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
The shocking death of legendary director Rob Reiner and his wife is making headlines the world over. The pair were found in their Los Angeles home yesterday. Tonight, their son is in police custody. Here's CTV's Andrea Case.
You are a meathead.
From a career started in front of the camera, Rob Reiner went on to be one of the most successful filmmakers of all time. The man behind so many iconic films lived in the quiet, upscale Los Angeles neighborhood of Brentwood. That quiet was shattered on Sunday afternoon when emergency crews responded to a 911 call after 3:30. At the home, they discovered two bodies, a man and a woman, and it was quickly ruled a homicide. Search warrants were issued, and a coroner identified the deceased as Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Singer Reiner. The couple's bodies were discovered by their 28-year-old daughter, Romy. 6 hours later, a shocking arrest was made.
We're able to take into custody Nick Reiner, a suspect in this case.
Hi, I'm Marty DeBerge.
78-year-old Reiner was an award-winning writer, director, and actor. He was known for directing iconic films including This Is Spinal Tap, The Princess Bride, and A Few Good Men.
You can't handle the truth.
What you really take away from his movies is a generosity, right, where it's not about his style, it's about serving the work, and it's about giving room to actors.
The Reiners have been married since 1989. Ironically, it was on the set of a romantic comedy they met.
When he went into make, when Harry Met Sally, he met Michelle Singer, fell in love, and changed the ending of the movie to a happy ending.
Tributes are pouring in for the couple. Jane Fonda wrote Rob and Michelle Singer Reiner were always coming up with ideas for how to make the world better, kinder. President Barack Obama wrote, "Beneath all of the stories he produced was a deep belief in the goodness of people and a lifelong commitment to putting that belief into action." Andrea Case, CTV News.
Every day, stacks of library books are exchanged across the country at a discounted rate by Canada Post, but there's a question whether that program will continue in the new year. CTV's Garrett Berry reports.
Among all of the holiday packages that Canada Post will be delivering across the country this year are library books, lots of them. About 30,000 or so are transported every month with the help of a long-running discount program for libraries.
It is millions of Canadians, literally, across the country that rely on that library book rate in order to receive materials.
Proposed changes to the Canada Post Act contained in the fall budget bill won't necessarily kill the program, but it will allow Canada Post to change it and change the rates with less government oversight. That's a scary thought for the Canadian Urban Libraries Council.
You know, the devil's always in the details, right? What does that really mean? So we are still going to be advocating that we want this at a legislative level. We want this approval to stay at that level.
Say I wanted to send a copy of Christopher Paolini's Inheritance through the mail. It's a pretty hefty book, almost 3 pounds. But between two libraries in Toronto, this shipment would only cost less than $2. Without this program, it would cost about $26. In Newfoundland and Labrador, at last count, nearly 200,000 interlibrary loans take place every year, most of those with the help of this discount program. St. John's resident David Brake says he fears for other library programs if the Provincial Library Board suddenly has to start paying more for shipping because Canada Post decides to increase rates.
Unless their hands are tied by the legislation as it is now, there's always going to be that temptation to save a few bucks.
In a statement, Canada Post said it wasn't currently considering any changes to the library discount program. A government spokesperson said it expects the program to continue too, but explained the proposed changes were made to eliminate administrative burdens. Garrett Berry, CTV News, St. John's.
And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
I've only got one question to ask you, Tony. Are you ready for the change in weather? Because it's coming over the course of the next couple of days. Forecast radar, here we go. This is what we're getting by, well, at least tomorrow afternoon. And don't forget, as I mentioned earlier, ice pellets, freezing drizzle, some flurries, some snow, rain, and milder temperatures, which will change later on in the week. We'll get to that momentarily, but again, that system moving through the Northeast over the course of the next couple of days. Now, let's take a look at some of the overnight temperatures. Chance of flurries in Greater Sudbury. Pretty well the chance of flurries right across the board, with the exception of North Bay, 2 to 4 centimeters overnight. Meanwhile, Moosonee, some light snow and the chance of flurries in Caphurst, Wawa, Gore Bay, and Perry Sound. Now there's a snow squall warning as well for Perry Sound, being hammered of late, 5 to 10 centimeters. So that'll be in effect tonight and overnight. Sudbury nickel belt conditions. Here we go. Freezing drizzle, flurries tomorrow. Chance of flurries -1, -2 on Wednesday with the flurries. Sleet, some rain or snow, 2 degrees. Then the big changeover, -15 on Friday, flurries. Snow Saturday, -3. Chance of flurries on Sunday at -9. Normally you should be sitting at -6. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, flurries, freezing drizzle for tomorrow. A few centimeters of snow. 2 degrees, -4 on Wednesday. Chance of flurries, snow or rain. I guess Environment Canada is still trying to make up its mind on that one. 0, -10 Friday, -2 with the snow Saturday, and Sunday some cloud cover at -6. Timmins Cochrane campus casing, ice pellets and snow for tomorrow, high of 0. Chance of flurries, here we go, -9, some snow. Thursday, -2. Then the big cool down. Friday, chance of flurries, -19. -7 on Saturday with the snow, and -13, some sun and clouds. So Tony was asking about the possibility of some sunny weather. This is about the extent of it between now and Sunday. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, chance of flurries for tomorrow. Also some freezing drizzle, -2. Chance of flurries Wednesday, -2. Rain snow mix on Thursday at +1. Then the big cool down, -18. So it starts Thursday evening, dropping down to -18. And that temperature pretty well standard over the course of Friday. Just another cold day. Snow Saturday, -6. And the chance of flurries on Sunday at -12. Your normal about -7 for this time of the year. Ready for the pick of the day? Here we go. Let's have a look. Beautiful shot. Wendy Lynn Hill. It was cold, but it was nice yesterday. So Wendy went out for a walk, managed to get this shot. Whitefish Falls in Sault Ste. Marie area. So again, a lot of people know that. Great idea, Wendy Lynn. I certainly appreciate that on a very cold Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning, whenever you took that shot. Hey, the École Thériault Secondaire annual alumni hockey tournament is coming up in Timmins very shortly. So Tony Ryma had a chance to talk to one of the organizers earlier today. He'll have more coming up after the break.
It's a great way to burn off some of that rich food during the holidays. The Thériault High School Alumni Hockey Tournament in Timmins is happening just after Christmas. And to tell us more, Jean St. Jean now joins us from Timmins. Hi there, Jean.
Hi, how are you, Tony?
I'm doing well. How many years is it for the tournament, and how many teams are you expecting?
Well, this year is our 37th year of going on. We missed 2 years because of COVID, and so it would have been 39, but 37 playing years. And last year we had 350 plus players, and we're expecting about 375 this year, if not more. And that's not including the school team or the girls division.
Okay, I was just going to ask you, so do you have men's, women's divisions, co-ed divisions? How does that work?
There's men and women's division now. The women's been there for this is going to be their 3rd year going. They had 50 players last year. They're expecting a little more. As it goes by, it gets bigger.
1,000 people within the stands.
And for the men's, last year we had 4 divisions of 6 teams.
You know, I'm seeing players that I used to play against, played, or coached, or ex-teachers.
Pierre before, and he said, the men were playing, and then the women said, why not us?
That was a big question for at least, I'm going to say about 10 years. Like they started or tried starting it before, and the 2 girls that take care of it this year, Jo Boissonneau and Mel Poliquin, they've been doing it for 3 years, and they're doing an awesome job. And word of mouth is good, but social media, Facebook, stuff like that is excellent.
I'm wondering, where do the players come from? Timmins or, farther away?
Well, they all originated from Timmins because all of them graduated from Ontario, but they're all over the country. Some guys from Vancouver, some guys from Halifax. We had a couple guys from the States years gone by. So it's all depends on when they get their holidays to come up for Christmas and see relatives.
Why is this tournament so popular, so successful?
The best question you can ask, because we started as an exhibition game against a school team when I was in university. And like I said, word of mouth, competition. I think it's just the being happy to be there, to see people that you haven't seen in years, like this 37 years. So guys that come out maybe once or twice every now and then see guys that they haven't seen in 10 years or 5 years or 7 years or 30 years. So I think it's just a camaraderie of everybody showing up at the same time, at the same place.
Sounds like a great reunion, and all the action is happening at the Archie Dillon Sportsplex. Is that right?
Yeah, at the Archie Dillon Sportsplex on the 27th, 28th, 29th from 8 a.m. to midnight, all 3 nights or days.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for your time, Jean, and continued success.
Thank you very much, Tony, for your time and all the stuff you do for us. Thank you.
Jean St. Jean was our guest, and to learn more about the Ontario Alumni Hockey Tournament, head to Facebook. With the high cost of living, many people are feeling financial pressures, and that could mean you may need to take out a loan. But if you do, watch out for the advance fee loan scam. You're told to pay a fee upfront to get a loan, but then it never happens. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
I don't want them scamming other people.
Linda Bailey of Pickering says it was in September when she went online and Googled loan companies. One of the first to pop up was Dynamic Resource Solutions. She contacted them and was told she could get a $20,000 loan, but she had to pay $4,000 in advance to secure the funds.
They came up and I read all their stuff about them. People gave good reviews on them.
Once Bailey paid the advance fee, the loan never happened. She was scammed out of $4,000.
I'm losing my car, I'm losing my home, I'm losing my animals, I'm losing everything.
CTV News emailed and called Dynamic Resource Solutions but did not get a response. There have been other complaints about the company made to the Better Business Bureau.
It's illegal in Ontario to ask for an advance fee for any type of loan.
Angela Dennis with the BBB says scammers often target people who have credit issues and who might not be able to get a loan through a traditional lender.
When people are paying these fees, typically they're being told it's for insurance purposes or an administration fee, and consumers are sending in their money and they're not receiving the loan.
To avoid the advance fee loan scam, beware if a loan is guaranteed and a credit check is not necessary. Be suspicious if you're asked to pay fees or a deposit in advance, such as insurance or processing charges. And be concerned if the company doesn't exist at a physical address. Bailey is now in a worse financial situation since being scammed out of $4,000, and she still has bills that need to be paid.
Can't get my money back. I can't get it back. That's just, it's the way it'll be.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Families are being encouraged to get their little ones vaccinated against the flu after 3 children died from flu-related complications. We are seeing a surge in flu cases right across the country. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
This is good that we're getting our flu shot.
Renelle Shalafu and her 3 adult children get their flu shot together every year.
I think it's important.
In the first 2 weeks of December, 3 children between the ages of 5 and 9 died from influenza A-related complications across Ottawa and the wider region.
Unfortunately, this is a cluster that we had over the last couple of weeks within a certain region, and which is rare. It's sad.
Officials say the cases are with the coroner and they don't yet know if the children had underlying medical conditions or whether they got their flu shot.
The strain this year is a more dangerous strain, a stronger strain if you'd like, and can cause severe complications in young children and in the elderly.
Ottawa's Children's Hospital saw 300 positive flu tests between December 1st and 10th. During the same period last year, there were just 11. Flu rates are up across the country. The latest data, only available up till December 6th, though, puts national percent positivity rates at 20.2%, highest in the Prairies and Ontario, while Ottawa's are at 36.5%.
Tragic reminder that we should be getting our influenza vaccines.
Dr. Isaac Bogosh says the flu kills between 2,500 and 3,500 Canadians each year.
People sometimes think influenza is just the sniffles or a little cough or a cold, and nothing can be further from the truth. It's a very significant viral infection.
The message to get vaccinated important ahead of the holiday season, with parties and gatherings and more people mingling from different places. Experts remind you to follow the basic hygiene rules, cough and sneeze into your sleeve, and consider wiping down high-touch areas like doorknobs. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Sault paramedics have been awarded a provincial grant to support mental health. The money is to give paramedics in the area added mental health resources, including peer support and specialized training and wellness programming. The grant is in partnership with Wounded Warriors Canada and the Ontario Mental Health Supports for Public Safety Personnel. He's in it. Welcome to Derry. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. An actor from Manitoulin Island is in a scene in a Stephen King-inspired series.
Clothing consideration provided by
Fashion Fair. Beautiful clothing for today's woman, where quality makes the difference.
A warning this holiday season about pet ownership. The Invasive Species Centre in Sault Ste. Marie says aquarium life, such as fish and turtles, can become invasive when released into natural environments. When pets are given as gifts, the new owners might not be fully prepared for long-term responsibility. According to the group, red-eared sliders and goldfish are two common problems.
So red-eared sliders and goldfish in particular, they can impact natural environments when released. So that's they have a high productive rate. They're able to, especially goldfish, prey on native species.
The center recommends make sure pet owners are prepared for the long-term commitment, choose reputable, ethical retailers, and if an animal can't be cared for, don't let it loose. Students at an elementary school in Greater Sudbury are engaged in a friendly competition. And as CTV's Madison Merrier reports, they're trying to help stock the shelves at an area food bank.
From hand to hand, students are running non-perishable items from St. Augustin to the Garson Food Bank.
We have a very special event that we do every few years. It's a human chain to bring food that we've collected for the past 2 weeks from St. Augustin all the way to the Garson Food Bank. So the kids are excited. This is something that was initiated by the Leadership Club.
Oh, definitely. It'll make a difference. There's a lot of needy families out there this year, so the need is more and more.
Absolutely. And how has the need grown?
It's risen over 30%. We have more clients every week. It's more and more.
The students' goal is to support families in need, and staff feel this hands-on experience is a great way to increase awareness for students.
We put the food boxes under the little Christmas trees in the class, so it's like a visual aspect of what's going on at Christmas, and they're so proud when they get to school, hardly able to lift the bags of food that they brought in, so it's very special this year.
It just teaches them to give and to share, and you know, to see that families need the food, and I think it makes them feel pretty good.
The donation chain was assembled by Neely and the leadership students from grades 5 to 8.
Our whole school is here, and we're doing it because we wanted the people at Garson can have a good holiday with like food.
I feel good, and we're doing something good, and we know that people will enjoy the canned goods and stuff.
This year, St. Augustin has donated around 720 non-perishable food items, which the Garson Food Bank says will make a difference for community members. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
It's time for our weekend wrap-up, and we start in the OHL with the Sudbury Wolves teddy bear toss. What made the Bears rain down a penalty shot? Hundreds of Bears rained down on the ice in support of local organizations, including Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Children's Aid, and Our Children, Our Future. It took quite some time to clean everything up, and the scoring didn't stop there. Kieran Walton would rack up 3 helpers to go with that goal as the Wolves go on to win 7-6 over the Owen Sound Attack. The Sioux Greyhounds also winning a 1-goal game in their tilt Friday night against the Brampton Steelheads 4-3. The North Bay Battalion were on the road Saturday night taking on the Erie Otters. Otters the only ones to capitalize in the third period, winning 3-1. The troops would have a much better game Sunday in Niagara, beating the Ice Dogs 7-3. Sunday was an exceptional day for all the northern teams, Sudbury allowing only 1 goal from the Brampton Steelheads, picking up a 5-1 win, while the Greyhounds took down the Owen Sound Attack 6-4. Turning to the NOJHL standings, the Hearst Lumberjacks rebounding in the standings this week after some postponed games set them back at the start of the month. Meanwhile, the Timmins Rock have won their last 16 games straight, sitting them just 1 point back of the Sudbury Cubs. The bottom half of the standings remain tight, with 4 teams still fighting for a top 8 finish. The Iroquois Falls Storm and Kirkland Lake Gold Miners sit tied after Kirkland Lake dug up a victory Friday against the Storm. Eagle-eyed fans of Stephen King and the franchise It will spot some Northern and Indigenous representation in the new TV show It, Welcome to Derry. Jonathan Fisher of Wikwemikong is one of the 2 actors from the territory featured in episode 3. Billed or credited as man in audience, Fisher got his chance to appear in the TV series, which was shot outside of Toronto. After 3 decades of gigs, which includes some prominent roles on stage, we asked him how this appearance on screen differed.
Film is totally a different process than theater. Stage is like you have to be big and grand and commanding, and with film you gotta concentrate that all down because this is your frame, and you know you can't really do that much. It's just like you just have to think about the emotion sometimes, and the camera will pick it up.
It, Welcome to Derry is available to watch on Crave. The comedy remake about 2 men remaking a film is set to slither into theaters. Douglas Hyde has that and more in our Hollywood Minute.
It's been a December to remember for Taylor Swift. Her new Disney Plus specials dropped this month, and she continues to dominate the charts. The Life of a Showgirl just marked its 9th week at the top of the Billboard 200 album chart. Swift's had more weeks at #1 than any solo artist in the chart's history.
Put your face right up next to the snake.
Maybe it'll be okay.
Cutting.
Jack Black and Paul Rudd team up for the new action comedy Anaconda. The duo play guys who head into the jungle to make their own version of the 1997 cult favorite Anaconda. It opens on Christmas Day, and if you think that's a weird day to premiere a movie like this, you're wrong.
Why is this the best movie for holiday times? Because the snake is green, just like Christmas, and when it bites your head off and there's blood spraying everywhere, that's the red, green and red. It's the colors of Christmas.
In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
Canadian and U.S. stocks slipped today, trading just down from Thursday's record highs. BNN Bloomberg's Andrew Bell has more.
Hello there. Stocks moved slightly lower on Wall Street and Bay Street today amid ongoing worries that the investment boom in artificial intelligence has gone too far. However, shares are near the record highs they posted late last week. Chipmaker Broadcom dropped again today, as did Oracle. Investors are awaiting crucial U.S. job figures for October and November. That release is set for tomorrow after a delay caused by the U.S. government shutdown. Gold traded near all-time highs, boosting shares in Barrick Mining to a record. And here are the closing numbers for the markets. The Canadian dollar traded at 72.63 U.S. cents, up a fraction. West Texas Intermediate oil was down again. It traded at $56.61 US a barrel, down 83 cents. Our latest fix on Western Canadian Select oil, $44.43, up 37 cents. And the TSX Composite ended at 31,483.44, down just under 44 points. Those are your business headlines. I'm Andrew Bell of BNN Bloomberg.
Here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold up $6.48, closing the day at $43.0682 US an ounce. Silver up 2 cents, $2.14 to end the day at $64.10. Copper moved ahead 7 cents to $5.41, and nickel down 12 cents, ending the day at $6.42 US a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Tuesday weather.
And my humble apologies to North Bay viewers. We missed out on the 7-day forecast at 6, so I'll try to encapsulate that momentarily. Let's take a look at some of the conditions now in the next little while. -1 again. It's pretty well flurries and freezing drizzle with the exception of Timmins for tomorrow. 0 in Timmins, ice pellets and snow. Chance of flurries, freezing drizzle in the Sault, so the temperature's milder. And again, North Bay, you're pretty well getting the same type of forecast. Freezing drizzle, some snow, and of course the colder temperatures will resume by about Thursday evening. Parry Sound, squalls, chance of flurries, and more this evening. Temiskaming Shores, we've got the chance of flurries and -2. Tony?
Thanks, Rick. And finally, we leave you this evening with a song from the CTV Lions Children's Christmas Telethon on Saturday, December 6th. Here's 10-year-old Allie Richardson. Thanks for watching. Good night.
I just woke up from a dream where you and I had to say goodbye, and I don't know what it all means, but since I survived I realized wherever you go, that's where I follow. Nobody's promised tomorrow, so I'ma love you every night like it's the last night, like it's the last night. If the world was ending, I wanna be next to you. If the